feel a little bit like it's really not domem, but nevertheless, the Chazon Ish was once involved in a shidduch, and when at Baruch Hashem they got engaged, he told the Chassan and Kala that he would like to come to the engagement party. It was a chiddush because the Chazon Ish went to chasnas, not to engagement parties. Fine. And he said the hall was right next to where the Chazon Ish lives. So the Chazon Ish told two of his Talmidim, when the time comes, let me knock on my door and I'll come down to say Mazel Tov. And they were very excited, the Balei HaSimcha, that the Chazon Ish is going to come. When the time came, so the two Talmidim knocked on the door of the Chazon Ish, and they saw that the Chazon Ish was speaking to an old couple. Okay. They're waiting. After 5 minutes, they stuck their head in the room, like to draw his attention, and the Chazon Ish saw them. And they thought, well, the Chazon Ish knows that like 50 people are waiting downstairs. Okay, I guess it's something very dinei nefashistic. They heard the conversation. So it happens to me that this couple runs a shop of buttons, of clothes. So they asked the Chazon Ish, do you think we should buy these golden buttons? The Chazon Ish said, yes. How many? 50. How should we sew it? With what thread? What color? Red? Blue? They said red. Because it wasn't dinei nefashis. And then the Chazon Ish sat with them calmly and peacefully for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, they left, and then the Chazon Ish is going with these two Talmidim that came to call him. So the Chazon Ish says, and probably you're thinking to yourself, well, what's going on? I'll tell you. This couple they're Holocaust survivors. They have nothing in their life but this shop. That's their baby. So I got to do with them chesed. Hi, there's 50 people waiting for me. Also, the 50 people have to do chesed to this couple. It's up to me that I'm doing it on their behalf. So basically, all of us should have been by Ari's chasna. Just kidding. Okay, and I'm just doing it on his behalf, on your behalf. Okay, Adkan just a stupid joke to explain why I'm a little bit late. Rabbi said there's a Mordecai Chiddush in the Maral in this week's Parsha that he deals, and it's extremely relevant to what's happening to Am Yisrael the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. He's dealing with the issue of Shimon and Levi, that they killed and wiped out the whole town. Kol Anshe Ir. What is the legal or moral justification to do that? The Rambam speaks about it, the Ramban speaks about it, the Rambam in the Yad HaChazaka speaks about it. We're going to see. And the Maral says a Yisoid. But to understand his Yisoid, we have to go through a few other Marals, and then we'll understand it. Again, the Maral does not accept what the Rambam says. He asks a kasha on it, and then he says, look, kasha midi, and he says a different shot. And what he says, 100 years ago would have been a Dover Pashut, 80 years ago would have been a Dover Pashut, today sounds a little bit like a Chiddush. So we're going to go through Keseder. Don't worry, all the pages are what's the word? Numbered. So yeah, beseder. Let's start with page number 1. V'lo yitchem levatchem anochi koris esapris azois v'sa'alo azois. It's the Parshas Nitzavim. Ki es asher yesh lo po imanu hayom b'fnei Hashem Elokeinu v'es asher enenu po imanu hayom. Fine. Says Rashi, Pasuk Yudalet, where the arrow is. V'es asher enenu po v'af im doiros ha'atidim lihiyos. The bris is a bris with also subsequent future generations. So I was once asked from one of the boys in Hasmonean, more than once, he wanted to know the following thing. Why is he obligated in Torah mitzvahs? Am Yisrael said Nasa v'nishma. Why does it obligate him? He was there with his neshama, and neshama doesn't have free will. And a neshama cannot say no. With what it's going to say no, it doesn't have a mouth to speak. He asked me the following. How come I'm not like a ger? If a ger converts and there's a bunch of little kids, so they start, and then when they're the age of 13 or 12, they're asked, do you want to go on or not? How come I'm not asked? I also want to be asked. I don't know, and Am Yisrael was asked 3,335 years ago. And they were asked, and they said, Nasa v'nishma. Why does it obligate me? That's his question. Why does it obligate me? Each one has his own free will. Each one has his own fresh start. Why does it obligate me? So let's see. On this question also, you see the Rashi here? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a bris with subsequent Doros Atidim. How? How could you make a bris with people who are not even here yet? So let's go to page 2, the back of page 1. Here's a Maral on Netzach Yisrael. Okay, it's a Maral on Netzach Yisrael and Perek Yud Aleph. Let's see the arrows. L'chach omar b'pashtus atem nitzavim v'lo itchem levatchem anochi koris zabris azois כי מסר ישנו פה וגמר. ומעטה. איך אפשר שיחויס בריס עם אשר לא נולדו עדיין? How could you make a bris for those who weren't born yet? ואינם בעולם. They're not in the world yet. They're a דבר שלא בא לעולם. So how could you make with them a... למי שלא בא לעולם? אבל הדבר ברור, says the Maral. לפי שקורא הסבריס עם אברהם, he spoke before about Abraham, so he's addressing that soon. מצד שהוא התחיל האומה בכלל, וכן בישראל הוא אומר, right before this פסוקים, שאין קורס בריתים מצד שהם פרטים, אלא רק מצד האומה, דהיינו שם ישראל, the name of ישראל, ודבר זה כולל אויסם שם עתה לפניו, includes those who are there present, וכן אויסם שנולדו אחר כך, שכולם שם אומה ישראל עליהם. We'll just say the words. It's not a din in pratim. It's a din in the ummah. And everyone who was part of this ummah, it's chal on him. What does that mean? Rabbi said, let's go to page 3. Page 3, we're joining Yosef that was mashbiah his brothers, that they should mashbiah their children to get him out, to take him when they leave Mitzrayim.
Page 3.
Yeah. The next page.
Okay, right.
It's a kol mesudar, Rabbi Binyamin.
It says Vayishlach.
Yeah, but it says 3 with a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, akol beseder?
Yeah.
So, what's up, Shad? Why did Yosef made a shvua to be mashbiah that his brothers should be mashbiah their children? And then the children should be mashbiah their children? Should go on? No. So why would he mashbiah his brothers? Why is that not enough? The brothers should mashbiah their children, and Yosef will be mashbiah his children. Does that speak? To take him out of Mitzrayim. So how does that work? So look at the Maral here, and the area there, in Pashas Vayishlach, like Binyamin says, but it's page 3. Inami, another answer to this point. Okay, why can't he just mashbiah the brothers themselves? The kasher yishbiah Yosef Echav and Echav Klal Yisrael. They're not called the Klal. Shenomar she'ashvu achal Klal Yisrael. Why? Yud Aleph Shvatim einam Klal Yisrael. If Yosef's mashbiah the other ones, they're 11. They're 11, right? That's not called Klal Yisrael. Okay, but he's mashbiah them. Yud Aleph Shvatim einam Klal Yisrael. Aval kasher hem yishbu es b'neim, but when they and Yosef included will be mashbiah their children, now you have all 12. V'chala shvu ala klal. The shvu will be chal on all of them. V'afdor sabayim hem b'chlal shvu. Once you reach a klal, you don't have to go into the subsequent generations. A klal includes everyone. Kish echad. But Yosef and Nator, since he's mashbiah his siblings, they're not a klal yet. They're 11 shvatim. No must speak.
He can't be mashbiah himself.
I don't know. He's dying. He's the one being dying. What do you mean, mashbiah myself? I'll take myself. Okay. Rabbi said, let's give a look at footnote 140. And again on page 3, and like Binyamin says, Pashas Vayishlach. Right? Footnote 140. וראה פחד יצחק פורים עניין י"א שכוסף. הנה כל הקיומים שכל דור מקיים את הקבלות של הדורות שלפניו, every generation keeps the previous generation's obligations, נבחנים עליהם בשתי בחינות. There's 2 aspects to it. האחד, יזו שעליה אמור בגמרא, אל תיטש תורה שמחה. One is follow the meaning of your parents. What about the other one? ולשם בירור של ההבחנה השנייה עלינו להביא את דבריו של המהר"ל בעניין השבעת יוסף בן ישראל. And it brings the Maral that we just now learned. המצאנו לימדים מדברי המהר"ל הללו. דכלל ישראל נחשבו כקוימה אחידה ויחידה. Look inside, guys. Look inside. In basketball, I played in basketball. You got to look inside. כשם שכל יחיד ויחיד יכול לחייב עצמו על ידי קבלה, just like each person can obligate himself, כמו כן יש בכוחו של כלל ישראל לחייב עצמו על ידי קבלה, וחלה החובה לקיים קבלה זו על כל יחיד ויחיד מישראל בכל הדורס ובכל הזמנים. ומצאנו בכאן את ההבחנה השנייה אשר בה נבחנים הקיומים שאנו מקיימים את קבלתן של הדורות שלפנינו. כן אמרנו, הקיומים שאנו מקיימים את החובות הנמשכות מקבלת הדורות שלפנינו נבחנים עם שתי בחינות. one is אל תיטוש שאתה עושה, וההבחנה השנייה מתבטל החילוק בין דור לדור. וכל הדורות בני חדה ביקתא אינון, קוימה, אחס, יחידה ואחידה. כלל is one entity. Let's go weiter to page 4, which is in Gvurus Hashem. Page 4, which is in Gvurus Hashem. How do you understand the statement? שלא עשה עשינו בלבד גאל הקדוש ברוך הוא, אלא אף עשינו גאל עמהם. What does it mean? And let us say what you say.
What sefer is this from?
This is from Sefer Gvurus Hashem. It says initials inside. Gvurus Hashem. You see on the top of the page it says Gvurus Hashem?
No, next to her. Oh, I didn't understand that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so the Maharal says, no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took all of us out, not just indirect, that once you take out the first generation, so they leave, so their children will be also out. No. He had kavanah for all the doros b'vasachas. The Im Toima, what's the arrow here? Mumay nafkamina mean, what's the difference? Im haya mechaven la'ovois v'ayinu galim abonim b'mikveh, or shekiven la'ovois u'bonim b'yachat? What's the chiluk? חילוק גדול יש. אם כיוון לעובס בלבד, היה אפשר לבונים לחזור לשיבוט. It could happen that they'll go back one day. עכשיו שכיוון לעובס ואל כל הדורס, אי אפשר. They won't go back anymore for this שיבוט. Okay? לקח אומר לא יסבסנו גל, אלא אף איתנו גל עמהם. ודובר זה כי מפני שהוא יסבורך כולל כל הדורס, פועל בדברים התמידיים והכוללים, לא אלה הדברים הפרטיים אשר לפי שעה בלבד ואינם רק פרוטים. Again, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu did Gulas Mitzrayim, it's all generations are included, Chad HaMachta. It's not that they left Mitzrayim and we, Mimela, are already redeemed. Rather, all of them were in one shvung. That's the din of a cloud. Okay. So before we go on the Maharal, what do you see? And today, in the Western brain that we have today, it sounds, why is it the Chiddush? It sounds that everybody thinks about himself. I started when I was born. Yeah, there are people before me. Obviously, my parents, that's where I came from. But my story starts when I was born. And it will end after 120. And everything is looked from the prism of the individual. I was born, my life, my identity, my mahus started when I was born. Says the Maharal, nein. He says in Yiddish, Rav Kaduri, nein. You are a limb in a body which is called Knesset Yisrael. And that body started, the Yitzias Mitzrayim, 3,335 years ago. You look pretty young for someone who's 3,335 years old. You look God's good. But the point is, that's who you are. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? So you could say, I see Yosef. I see Shia. I see Shia. I see Yitzchak. I see Arav Kaduri. I see Binyamin. Nein. You see a Yid. That's our first core identity. I am a limb of a nation, of a collective body, which is called Am Yisrael. And generations come and go. But the mahus doesn't change. Let me give you a foolish mashal, which is not exactly parallel, but nevertheless to bring out this idea. Before Corona, Reuben gave a loan to Shimon for 1,000 pounds. And he made up with Shimon that he'll come collect it after 3 years. When he gave the loan, Shimon was a very slim man. He was doing good exercise, careful on what he's eating. He weighed 60 kilo. Like you almost. But then came Corona, and he stopped exercising, and he stayed home the whole day. And he was eating and eating nonstop. After 3 years, he tripled himself. He's now 180 kilo. Hashem Yerachem. After 3 years, Reuben knocks on the door, and the Shimon, the triple Shimon answers, and Reuben says, "Can I please speak to Shimon?" So Shimon says, "It's me." "Oh, wow, I see now it's real. Okay, is everything okay?" "Yeah." So what happened? We'll deal with it. But meanwhile, I'm tripled. "Okay, fine. Okay, I just came to we have an agreement that now is the due date. Are you aware of it?" "Yeah, I'm aware of it. I remember it clearly. Yeah, you have a document. You don't even have to show me the document. I remember. But I'll tell you, I have now 120 kilo of mine who were not in the world when the loan took place. So I don't see why they have to pay. They came later. I'll pay a third." You know what? What's a third? 333.3? 340. I want to be large. But I do not see why the other extra 120 kilo that came to the world after the loan should pay for a loan that was before they came. So Reuben asks him, "Are you serious?" He says, "Yeah." We're going to have to go to the Torah. "Yeah, I'll send to the Torah." Of course, when they went to the Torah, it's ridiculous what he's saying. Why is it ridiculous? It's you. Kilos come, kilos go. It's you. It's still the same you. At my age, kilo comes. At other ages, kilo goes. But they fluctuate the kilos, but it doesn't change who you are. The essence, the entity. Am Yisrael that's where it is. Dor holech v'dor ba. It's like the kilos that come and go. But the essence of the Ummah, of the Klal, is one. And we are all part of it. The ways I'll show you, let's go to another place. Here. Let's give a look here on page 5. The Maharal is speaking about the Mishnah in Makis. Rotza HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakos es Yisrael ulefikach yirba lehem Torah u'mitzvos. Shenemar Hashem chofetz ema'at tzidko yagdil Torah v'yadir yiskaral. I never heard the Mishnah without Yiskaral. So I thought Yiskaral was part of the Mishnah. No, it's not, right? Yagdil Torah v'yadir, it stops and Yiskaral. Fine. The Mishnah, it doesn't make sense. Rotza HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakos es Yisrael ulefikach yirba lehem Torah u'mitzvos. Make it less, not more. Make it less. Give us only 2-3 mitzvahs. Why? Many mitzvahs? You could fill now. It's like a teacher comes to students. Today, students, I want to be very nice to you guys. Instead of homework of half an hour, I'm giving you homework 5 hours. That doesn't make sense. So what's the pshat of this Mishnah? I'm a Pirush Mishayim Yedua. Look what the Maharal says in it. V'afilu im toimar k'mashmoi. About this Mishnah. That's good, they have a lot of mitzvahs. Lo kasha midi, it's not a problem. Sha'en lo mar she'iten lem ma'at mitzvahs v'yeh lem aschar gadol. Give me just a few mitzvahs and still give me the same reward. She'dova ze lo yitachen. She'lo haya ze mishpat yashar. Ki lefum tzara agra. You have to toil to get a reward. Umikoshke lefi ma shenizbor ki haTorah hu tziruf v'zikuch Yisrael. The mitzvahs, the Torah purifies you. How would you say tziruf v'zikuch in English?
Refine.
Refine. Very good. Ulefi rov mitzvah, rov means the ribuy of mitzvahs, u'tziruf v'zikuch shem, you become more refined. Im ken bevadai ribuy mitzvahs, I'm on page 5, toivu lehem. V'im ata omer ariyot sasron b'efsedon, there's some people that could lose from it, shekasher lo yikem ha-mitzvah yeh l'adam oynesh, bevadai ilu amar rotza HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakos es ha'odam, haya ze she'ela. שאפשר שאין זה סוס לאדם. אבל אומר רוצה לזכוס את ישראל. כי אף אם היה יותר טוב לאדם הפרטי שלא יהיה לו הרבה מצוות, it could be some individuals we better off without not having a big load. אבל לכלל ישראל, on a כבר אמרנו למעלה פרק א', כי כלל ישראל מוכנים ומסוגלים לתורה. It's compatible. והוא יסבוך לא יעשה לתורה לכל ישראל, והוא זכות להם. There are some individuals that it won't work out for them, but for the cloud it works out great. ואם יש אחד, if there's one individual, and now I'm going to page 6. Page 6, in Tiferet Yisrael. פוער ראש ולנו, העולם נידון אחר הכלל. וכלל ישראל מוכנים לתורה ומצוות מצד עצמם, intrinsically. ומקוש כן שאין במציא זה היחיד שלא יחפץ מצוות. He's not part of a reality if there's a yid who refuses mitzvahs. כי דור התורה אומו נעשה ונשמע. והדורות הבאים אחריהם, אותו אשר יאמר שאינו חפץ, if someone after Am Yisrael said נעשה ונשמע will say I'm not interested, אינו נחשב מן המציאס. He's not a true reality. Because Am Yisrael took it upon themselves. ואם כן, בוודאי, חפץ השם לזכות ישראל במצוות. ריבוי מצוות is good. ריבוי מצוות is good. There may be some individuals who don't work it out, fine. But it's good. Now, let's give a look, please, if you don't mind, and footnote 51. And here's a footnote which I didn't read before. The second paragraph in footnote 51. The first paragraph quotes what we saw in Netzach. Okay, that we saw already. כלל ישראל נחשב ככל מאחידה ויחידה, וכשם שכל יוחד ויוחד יכול לחייב עצמו על ידי קבלה, כמו כן יש בכוחו של כלל ישראל לחייב עצמו על ידי קבלה. וחלה החובה לקיים קבלה זו על כל יוחד ויוחד מישראל בכל הדורות ובכל הזמנים. That we already saw. Here's the Pachat Yitzchak that we didn't see. ופחד Yitzchak Pesach B'Malam Kosov. Look at this. Klolius Knesset Yisrael. So before we read it, let me ask you, how do you understand Knesset Yisrael? What does it mean? Is it it's the sum of the individuals? So the individuals are first, and they gather together, and stage 2 is Knesset Yisrael. Right? Look what the Rav says. Klolius Knesset Yisrael ein muvana. It's not kovetz kol hapratim, a collection of the individuals shel ha'ishim ha'yichidim b'nei Yisrael. Ela sheyanu lehefech. On the contrary, the Klolius Yisrael yichida achas asher ha'ishim ha'yichidim em chalakim imena. It's the other way around. There's a concept called Klal Yisrael, which is divided to individuals. It's not the individuals built up Klal Yisrael. It's the other way around. There's a bilia called Klal Yisrael. There's such a kind of bilia. Knesset Yisrael. And that's what it is. And now you could fragment it, whatever the word is in English, Teichidim. But it's not that it's not the sum of the Yichidim. That's not what Klal Yisrael is. It goes the other way around. Klal Yisrael is a bilia, a nivra, right? And the Yichidim are part of it. So what came first? What's the A? What's the B? The Yochid or the Klal? The Klal's the A, right? Okay? Good. Good. So again, the Maral says this point of klal, klal, klal. Now we're going to reach our parsha. But before we go on, why does it sound a big chiddush what this Maral is saying? So what's the answer to that boy from Hasmo that asked me? Why is he chai v'nasa v'nishma? Because Am Yisrael took a part, and you're part of that. That's your first core of your identity. You're part of this collective body, which is called Am Yisrael.
Would you say that you do what your ancestors did?
What?
Would you say that you do what your ancestors do? That they do it, and you took it upon yourself afterwards?
No, not because of that.
Not because of that.
No, but fair shot. Klal Yisrael took upon the schil, and you're part of the klal. How you weren't there in the world, so what? This goof, why does it sound such a chiddush? Because we understand that everything's about the individual. Today, right? How's it called? Everything's li, bisli. I. It used to be cheplach, other things, lach. Right? That's what they say. The boys say, let's we're going to hammer home this point, and you're going to see how it's relevant to what's happened today with Israel and Gaza. Let's now go to page 7. So it's the Guaye, Pashas Vayishlach, but it's page 7. Beseder, page 7. The question, what is the legal and moral justification for Shimon and Levi to wipe out a whole city? Because one or two people did something. That's called collective punishment. Look what the Mal says. So we're on page 7. What?
Proportionality.
Yeah, proportionality. Bidyuk.
Yeah, exactly.
Ach kosher. Rabbi said, let's go. The Mal in the beginning speaks about good. Kosher. Im Shechem chata. If Shechem, this person called Shechem was chata, kol ha'ir ma'chata la'arik. Why do you kill the whole city? V'tiretz HaRambam, the Rambam in the Alech HaZokah deals with this question. In Ilchos Malachim. The Bnei Noach mitzuvim al adinim. The Bnei Noach are supposed to have court when they see evil being done, they're supposed to judge it. V'avaya echad she'over nerag al yadoy. Ben Noach is nerag if he doesn't keep his Shem mitzvah Noach. V'chan, ra'u ma'aseh hara hazeh. The people of the city saw what Shechem's doing, that he kidnapped, that he took, v'lo danu, they didn't judge him. So they're not mekam dinim, so they're chayav misa. That's what the Rambam says. Lakach hayu chayavim misa shelo hayu dalim otam. On which avera? Gezel. That's what the Rambam says. Ubemet says the Maral, the last line on column right. Doval temahem eludvarim. It's wonder what the Maral is saying. What the Rambam is saying.
Because of dinim.
They should have judged them on the Gezel. Dinim is to judge on Gezel. Okay? Ubemet dvar temahem. Ki ech efshar lehem ladun et ben asiyarz. How could they go judge the king? Ki hayu re'imim. They're afraid of him. That they should judge people doing things which are wrong. You want them to go to the mafia ringleader and judge him? He said, I don't understand the Rambam's thoughts. The Rambam says that they should have judged Shechem on the evil that he did, that he stole Dinah. They're afraid of him. He's the king. Or the son of the king. Says the Maral a different words. And Rabbi said, remember this Maral. And say it over to your friends. Make sure you remember this Maral. We're on page 7 on the left column. Look what he says. Venire de lo kashya midi. The kashya fakt nicht on. How could they kill a whole city? Look what he says. Mishum de lo dami shnei umois. We're dealing about two nations. Kagon bnei Yisrael v'Knaanim. Shem shnei umois. These are two separate nations. Kedichsiv, if they'll marry each other, vayinu la'am echad, will become one. Umitchila lo nechshavu la'am echad. Initially, they're not called am echad. Ulefikach utar lehem lilchom. Kedin umah sheba lilchom al umah acheret. One nation could wage war against another nation. Shehitira Torah, the Torah allows this. First, work it out in a peaceful way, which Shimon and Levi did not do. They didn't do anything yet aggressive against Am Yisrael. They already did an act of aggression. What does aggression mean again? Aggression. That they took Dinah, what they did here. Even though only one of them did it. All wars that you find. Because they did something. Everybody did it. אין זה חילוק, כיוון שהיו באויס האומה שאסורה להם, מותרים לבוא עליהם למלחמה, וכן הם כל המלחמס. Rabbi say, again, 70, 80 years ago, this Maral would have been a Chiddush. Today it's a Chiddush. What is he saying? When you're dealing on a national level, we're not going down now from the individual prism. Example, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, America. America made a war against Japan. No, America should find out who the pilots were. There were about like 40 planes, and kill them and their families. Why the whole Japanese? Single out who the pilots were and get them. What did everybody attack America in Japan? The pilots attacked. So why are you bombing Japan now, right, left, and center? Because the Japanese nation declared a war against America. And once you're dealing on a national level, you don't look at individuals. It's not in the calculation now. We're dealing on a national level. Am Yisrael, the Shvatim are called the Ummah, that the Maral says in a few places in Bereshis. There was an act of aggression done against them by the Canaanim. Were allowed to wage war back to the Canaanim. Get only the one who did it. No. It's a din of a nation. It's an Ummah against the Ummah. And Chiluk. Rabbi say, it's a more outlook. I'll give you an example, Rabbi say. What happened a few years ago, and everybody today understands that it was a mistake, but let's see why it was a mistake. That Israel released over 1,000 terrorists for one soldier. Everybody agrees today it was a mistake. But you know what? Why the Maral would say it's a mistake? Most people tell you not it's a mistake. It turned out to be that those others killed more people, so you want the same lives, you caused more lives. The Maral's going to say something much deeper than that. You're dealing on a national level. You can't focus on the Yachid now. Hi, this Yachid has parents. This Yachid has family. We're Jewish hearts. We'll have full Rahmanis. But when you're dealing on a national level, what's the Tov of Am Yisrael, you don't look from the prism of individual. That's not what you're supposed to be looking into now.
He wouldn't agree with the present exchange, right?
That we're going to see. I'll tell you, maybe there's a sword that he would agree. But that one for sure not. Not only because, let's say the 1,027 were Mizgar and they became Chavetz Chaims. All the 1,027 that they released then. No one got killed afterwards. But B'Shas Ma'aseh, you didn't know that. Let's say that all the Tshuva were Mizgar and they became to be Chavetz Chaims. Each and every one of them. No one got hurt. It's still, you should do it. Because when you're looking from the prism of an Ummah, don't take the calculation of a Yachid. There's a Klal and there's a Yachid. V'lo ba'zeh el zeh kol halayla. It's a big Yesod. Well, first I'll give you an example. I'll tell you, since the Olam may not appreciate the story, so I'm going to remain without names. But if you appreciate the story, I'll tell you who it was about. One of the Gedolei Yisrael who started Torah in America after the war was persuading his Talmidim to stay and learning. One of the Talmidim was an average guy, a little bit even less than average. He didn't become a big Rosh Hashanah. He stayed and learning. He didn't become a big Rav, and he didn't have Parnasa either. Nishtahim and Nishtahar. The father of this married man already, who's already with children and so on, came to this Gadol and said, look what happened. You persuaded my son to hey, Chaim, you persuaded the son to stay learning. Aber Sheshiva Eres nicht da. Eres nicht. Nicht? Yeah. Und größer Baal Halocha and Rav is nicht. A Parnasa he doesn't have. Look what he did to him. This Gadol answered, we are waging a war to plant Torah in America. And he's part of that war. Sometimes in the war you have korbanos. But we're part of there's a national effort here, which he's part of. He's going to get a big schar for that. And in every war, think about it, every war, aren't there going to be korbanos? So how can you do it? Israel's going to start and resume the attack on Hamas, let's say next week. The Pashas will be people getting hurt. How can you do it? Everybody understands. This is the national security. There's Yechidim. We're going to try our best to make sure that no one should get hurt. But you are Makriv Yechidim for the Klal. That's what you do. And when you're focusing on the Klal, it's a Klal. When you're focusing on the Yachid, it's a Yachid. But to make cheshbonis of the Klal through the prism of the Yachid, that's wrong. Leibadik! I'm going to take it to the Chasna afterwards, so I'm going back again. You're going to come with me. Beseder! Oh, boys, I'll give you an example. Go to page 9. This is a little even a Hasidic word, but just to show you something. It's a Maral again. But I want to show you the words. One of the things that will happen before Mashiach comes, the deterioration of the world, is Hamalchus tehafech leminus. That's what Gemara says in Saita. What does it mean, Hamalchus tehafech leminus? So Pashup Pshat is the Malchus will become kfiradik. Right? Look what the Maral says here between the arrows. Good. Okay.
What sefer is this?
This is Netzach Yisrael. Okay. Good. I'm going to skip a few lines. After number 81. V'hamalchus te'afech leminus. Dover zebo ke'aminu b'fnei atzmoi. Yoytze min ha'emuna. Look at what it says on the bottom, footnote 83. לשון הפחד יצחק. פירושה שתיבת מין הוא במובן סוג. כלומר, הפורק חטא וחוטא שלום מחמתיים, הרי הוא סוג יסוד בפני עצמו. פירושו של מין הוא סוג בפני עצמו. I once heard, do you know what it means, המלכוס תהפך למינוס? That the klal issues are going to become individualized. A min is an individual, a sug, a salt. Like you can't say on a whole nation, he's a tip. You know the expression in Yiddish, as a tip? What does a tip mean?
It's a character.
A character. Could you say on a whole nation it's a character? You can't. It means he's a billion b'fnei atzmai. That's what it means. He's someone else. For good, for bad, lo m'shanach sham. Hamalchus ta'afech leminus. I once heard, you know what it means? What's the signs of Mashiach are coming? That those who are in charge of the general cloud, tziburic things, are going to make decisions based on individuals. The malchus will become a minus. Minus means individual. When you're dealing, there's two levels here. V'lo karav zeh el zeh kol halayla. Every country in Betzim understands this. Again, every country when they go to war, there are going to be people that are going to die. How can you make them die? Tell me, what's the logic? They should die. That the people that you go and war against Lebanon, they never should die. That the people in Kiryat Shmona should live safely. Why should he die for the people of Kiryat Shmona? Maybe the people of Kiryat Shmona should die for him. So what's the answer? There's a klal, and the yochid is butter for the klal. Everybody in this room, you're not willing to die for Klal Yisrael? Of course I am. Of course we are. If something for Klal Yisrael, we're willing to die. What about, but we're individuals and there's a Klal, we're willing to die for the Klal. Can. If you could have had a way to kill Hitler, you would have done it? Of course you would. I would mean whoever does it would also, fine. Of course you would do it. When it comes to cheshbonis of Klal, the yochid is on the back burner, with all due respect. And here I mean due respect in a positive way. Not like, making fun. There's a yochid, there's a klal. Shimon and Levi do not have to go and now check out who's the one who took Tina, raped Tina. They don't have to do that.
So why did Jacob do that?
Action. Okay. They don't have to do that. The nation violated. Israel's the only nation that when they get attacked by missiles, they can only retaliate against those who press the button of the missile. What about the people that support them? What about the people that voted them into office? No. We're allowed to target the one who shot it. What about the next door neighbor? Oh, he's innocent. That's only from Israel they ask that. The focus on individuals. And the Maharal would answer, no. If the Arabs make attack against Israel, it's called that the people in Gaza attacked Israel. And we are allowed to retaliate to protect ourselves. Yaakov Avinu wasn't happy with it because he was afraid that other nations are going to join against him and he won't be able to handle the other nations. But what they did, they're shvatim, they're shiftei kah. Do you know, I'll give you an example of this. Let me say, the Iron Dome? You know what the Iron Dome is?
Yeah.
It's like many things. It's American money and the Yiddish cup. That's what it is. But Israel has the right to sell it to countries if America gives permission.
Israel what?
Has a right to sell the Iron Dome to other countries if America okays it.
Right.
Israel wanted to sell Iron Dome to India because they sometimes have frictions with Pakistan. And America said yes. No, that was no problem. So Israel wanted to go to India and sell it. So India, they looked at it, each one is $50,000. They said, no, we don't need it. So I said, why don't you need it? If Pakistan will attack you, you'll be able to protect yourself. So they answered, no, if Pakistan attacks us with one missile, we'll send back 2 missiles. They sent 10, we'll send back 20. Why do we need Iron Domes for?
You don't want to get destroyed in the first place.
No, it's a missile, you don't get destroyed. Whatever they'll do, we'll retaliate. Israel can't do that. They send rockets all over Israel in an undiscriminate way against all citizens. We cannot do the same thing back. If we could have, we would have stopped in one day. But again, that's called double standards. Because when America was attacked by Afghanistan, they wiped out a few cities in Afghanistan. And when England was fighting Germany, what's the name of that city that they mamish wiped it off? Dresden. They wiped it off. Did anybody claim that they did something wrong? No. No. Right? No.
It's a controversial episode in the war.
Okay, it was. Okay. But the Mao was saying about Shimon and Levi, they were 100% morally and legally right to do what they did. Why? Because there was an act of aggression by the Knaanim against Am Yisrael, so Am Yisrael retaliates against the Knaanim. Check out who's the one who did it. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. It's not a din in Yechidim. It's a din in the Ummah. What we learned in the beginning of the Mal, a few examples is it's the Ummah of Am Yisrael. But also, this is Ummah. Also, go to war and they know that individuals are going to die. And they still do it. And it's not called immoral. Because there's a klal and there's an individual. Well, what do you want to say? What's wrong?
There's England, Wales, Scotland. I mean, is that all part of the United Kingdom?
So I don't know. I'm not a maven enough in the history of England. I don't know. That I don't know. But I could just to individual. If someone hurts you with his right hand, could you punish him on his left hand? Yeah, but his left hand didn't do it. It's the right hand who did it. You're not mechalik. That's why you should not mechalik by ummah. Ummah is an entity. And if the ummah attacked you, you're allowed to return back to that ummah, and you don't have to start making a percentia. How is it called with a
Percentage.
no percentage? What? What's the word?
Precision.
Precise. I'm going to do it. The one who bought the one, not the one who's there. The one who the one who did that. That's the only one you can hit. The one who brought it there with his truck, no, it's not him. And the ones that voted into office, these people, no. And then 85% or 75% of the Gaza people support what the Hamas is doing? No. You got to differentiate between the Hamas and the Palestinians. The Ma'al would say, lo nachon. Lo nachon. You don't have to do that. There's an ummah, and on the ummah level, you don't deal with individuals. It's such a different entity. That's how you deal. The deal that they did with that one soldier, that they released 1,027, is not only because it backfired. That's wrong. Chutz mizeh. It's just, that's not Tovas HaKlal. You think about Tovas HaYochid. And when you're dealing with Klal, you're not supposed to think about Yochid. Hi, we all have Yiddish hearts, and we all are full of Rachmanis. So find a way how to express your Rachmanis, but not on the cheshbon of the Klal. That's what this Ma'al is saying. And Rabbi said, how come we're all so one? These last couple of days. Why? Because that's what Klal Yisrael means. If it would have been a bunch of individuals, so at the end of the day, we're not one. We're just individuals who got together. But it really works the other way around. That there's a bilya, a creature called Klal Yisrael, and we're part of that. But it started as a Klal Yisrael. And that's because we are really, truly one. Be'emes we're one. Not because we echad b'shvil kulam v'kulam b'shvil echad. It's not pshat. We are be'emes one entity. That's who we are. That's what this Ma'al, it goes through all this from this point of Klal Yisrael. Knesset Yisrael. But again, we think it's a chiddush. Oh, no one asked me if I want to do an Asa v'nishma. My neshama was there, but my neshama didn't have a way to say no. With what mouth will it speak?
He was there and bullied them.
Yeah. No one asked me Well, Matek, you're not the beginning of this story. לא אני תחילת הקדושה, אלוקי אביו ממנו, אלא מוחזקת זה מימי אבויסאי. You're a limb. A what?
Link in the chain.
A link in the chain. Yeah, what about me? It just comes from this Western culture thing. That everything's me. The focus is the individual. And the whole world has to work according to my individuality. Hi, there's many individuals, so we'll try to work it out. But the din is the individual. Zel lo nachon. That's what this Maral says about Shimon Levi. I think it's a mitzvah lefalsim, and I'm speaking tomorrow on BBC, and I'm going to say it. Of course, they're going to black it out after 20 seconds, but to remember this Yisod, look at it from the prism of Klal. It's not a din. No war was ever done against Yechidim. Go through the history of wars in the world. Germany attacked England, England responded to Germany. The one who came, no. The pilot who drove, no. No. It's a nation. We should all be zoiche to always look at the Klal Yisrael from the prism of not of a yochid, of a klal. Okay, now we're going to say each one please take his for him. It's a gift, again. I know you have maybe a problem afterwards with Gniza, but you could imagine what problem I'm going to have to take all of them back. And we're a cloud.
It was incredible that Meshech Chochmah, right? I don't see again. From last week.
Moirdik.
Amazing. Absolutely.
Nice of them. Nice of them.
amazing.